Why do you call me at this time?
You promised us a painless death if we give ourselves up. Come and get us.
You can wait. Call me again at another time.
Deep underground, in a top-secret research lab, security has been breached. A deadly virus capable of contaminating the entire world has been released.
Oh my God.
We have to get out of this building.
What was that? It's the brakes!
It's okay, we're here to help.
Now, an elite team has been sent in to stop it.
5 hours ago, Red Queen went homicidal.
Who's the Red Queen?
State-of-the-art artificial intelligence.
The corporation's keeping a few secrets down here.
But they have only 3 hours left before it begins infecting and mutating the whole human race.
Everyone stay calm.
You have to get out.
Don't listen to anything she says. She's a holographic representation of the Red Queen.
She may be our only way out of here.
How is she still standing?
She isn't standing now.
No one is immune. Resident Evil.
You're all going to die down here.
Back to the show.
Welcome to the Hormonal Werewolves, the only YouTube show out there that talks about movies new and old, good and bad, everything in between, and is 33% Canadian. I am one of your hosts, Canadian Moira, and I am the 33%.
You would be 33%.
Joining me, as always, of course, are your hosts, Adam. How's it going, buddy?
I'm dying.
Adam's dying, Ryan.
It's either RSV or the T virus. Maybe we'll know by the end of the episode.
Adam's being topical.
If I start.
Excellent.
And in the nether regions, which, by the way, I want to point out, we don't just automatically throw Abby down there. Most of the time,
you belong.
It's because of the recording software I use. She can't see us if she's at the top, so she prefers to be.
I don't like to see my own face, so I'd like to see them.
I'm trying to
so I
explain
hang
it.
out in the nether regions where I belong.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. Tonight's Adam might be infected with the T virus. If the T virus wasn't the end. Tonight's movie, of course, we are doing some back-to-back Arcade Anarchy, I believe is the title we're going with for this pairing, even though I argue when you think arcade games, you don't think of tonight's movie.
Hey everybody, this is Doc Mack from the Galloping Ghost Arcade out in Brookfield, Illinois. We're here today on Monday, November 10th, 2014, to unveil our newest game to the arcade floor. A few people might have seen it as we put it on the floor a little while ago, and we just didn't have it working yet, but it's Biohazard Gun Survivor 2 Code Veronica.
But it's been pointed out to me that there is an arcade release for this game. So we're talking Resident Evil from 2002.
Damn, I watched the wrong movie. No, I'm just kidding.
To be fair, you might have, because
it's easy to picked the
There's
wrong
like
one.
8 of these, and there's animated movies, there's live action movies, there's a reboot, Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, which is actually
that's right.
more closely tied to the games than tonight's movie is.
What the fuck? You might want to get a fire extinguisher.
Because spoiler alert, this movie has almost nothing to do with the games.
Well, there's the name. That's the name.
There is the name.
There's the
there's
name.
some Easter eggs. We'll get into it in a little bit, but before we start just going deep into the movie, well, this movie to me is a big part of who I am as a person. I grew up playing a lot of video games. I was a really nerdy kid. Like I had Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, all the way up to the Sony PlayStation. In the year of 1996, I played the shit out of Resident Evil, though my introduction to the franchise was 1998's Resident Evil 2. And I easily have played through that game at least 24 times, and the remake even more. And then the movie came out, so I was fucking stoked for it. You guys, I'm guessing though, just from our discussions when we hang out, you don't seem like big gamers to me. So did you guys play the games at all?
I've never even seen the game. Oh, that's not true. I've seen the game once.
Actually, I have wonderful memories of playing the game. Not so much the first game, but Resident Evil 2. We're all like 4 years apart, and sometimes that doesn't matter at all, and sometimes it matters a lot, which is always kind of interesting when we have these conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was out of high school by that point, still kind of just floating around without any kind of compass whatsoever. My friend, who turned out to be, he ended up he's the chief of police of Pittsburgh. So me and him kind of branched off into separate
Jesus.
It's almost like a comic book origin story.
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them!
I used to go over his house like 2 or 3 nights a week, and we would turn on. He had like he was one of the first friends that I had who had like his own apartment, which was his basement, and we would just turn off all the lights, play Resident Evil 2. Sometimes there was a little bit of this involved. There was always string fries and ranch and hot sauce involved. We had our own little ritual, and it was fun AF. It was
AF.
I had so much fun. Like
and that was your sweet time. That was
it was my sweet time. I had never seen a game that scared the shit out of me like that.
It is terrifying, especially with the lights out and everything else. But 96, I was 22, 23 years old and living in my first apartment with, my best friend. And we were doing the bar scene at that point.
I thought that was a limit drop. I didn't think it was tequila.
We used to hang out in this dive bar. Oh, I shouldn't call it that. This bar called the St. in Asbury Park, which is like they let all the bands do originals, which around here doesn't happen that. So you could go see metal bands playing original music, and it was awesome.
So Abby was too busy being popular.
I was actually, that was the only time in my life I was ever fun. So it was like 96. I remember you well. I found 1996 the other day. I found the photos. What few of them there exists.
So like, how scary these games, the games are, at least the few that I've played, they're so scary. I can remember distinct scenes from the games, like birds breaking through windows. Was one that destroyed.
Now, do you wear the headsets when you do it, guys?
No.
Back then there wasn't
anything like
that.
I mean,
because I feel like that would add so much with like the surround sound and
but like just how these games were able to build up tension and terror is one of the reasons why I'm such a strong critic of these films, because Talk about a series of films that has none of
Nothing to do with it. Yeah.
None of that.
That was scary.
Oh my god.
I mean, it's all right. Like,
did you ever pee a little? Be honest.
Have I ever peed?
Did you ever pee a little while you were playing? Like
I pee all the time. No.
Okay.
Only because I didn't want to stop playing the game, not because I was scared. If that makes sense.
Okay. All right.
I was very, very closely getting into that whole piss jug territory.
Okay.
I'm joking, by the way. No, I went to the bathroom. I'm a normal human being.
You're wearing a diaper.
Yeah, exactly. But it's funny that you mentioned Adam, because yes, I agree with you 100%. Like these, tonight's movie is about as far away from the atmosphere and feeling of a Resident Evil game as you could get. And part of me, despite my enjoyment of this movie and its subsequent sequels, part of me is pissed because it directly affected the games moving forward. Because you had your Resident Evil, Resident Evil 2, 3, Code Veronica. This movie came out in between Code Veronica and Resident Evil 4. And up until Resident Evil 4, they were very, like Adam said, like jump scares, birds crashing through windows. Even the games themselves were very cinematic. It was tank control game to allow for these dramatic camera angles that would add to the tension and the suspense.
Yeah.
Once Resident Evil, the movie, came out, all of a sudden now it's like, well, let's see if we can make the games co-op. We should add some more gunplay to them. It should be over the shoulder so we allow more shooting and stuff like that. Like they wanted the
so
games
it took all the charm of the original and shit on it a bit.
Kind of shit on it. And we didn't get a return to that kind of old school survival horror until Resident Evil 7, which just came out, I think, in the last 6-7 years, I want to say. And it brought back that old school horror feel to the franchise again. And it turned out it was a huge success. So maybe just keep
that
your
way about the new Alien movie.
Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes
just
there was a
back
reason why
around to
the
horror.
originals were so good. Like you don't always got to add a bunch of guns and explosions to your horror franchise. Now, as far as
because that action Aliens did so poorly.
Hey, in my mind, it did.
Aliens is a great movie. But I guess that's a topic for another day. It's just not
it was
scary
a
like
day. We've done it.
We did that one already. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things that always used to drive me crazy about this film that obviously I didn't know then, because 2002 there was no internet, right? There was no internet, or did we have AOL then?
We had AOL.
Did we have AOL? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I didn't know that George Romero at one point was heavily involved with Capcom to make the first film. And when I say heavily involved, like he was heavily involved in the writing process. I think
I only learned that today.
Really?
From Ryan.
Really? Doesn't that blow your mind?
Changes everything.
From what I understand, I'm sure, and Ryan, I know that you're pretty much a Resident Evil expert, so you could confirm or deny. But I've heard various things, like some of his versions of the scripts were too brutal. Like they would actually get an NC-17 rating, so a lot of those were kind of scrapped.
So I do know a lot about this, and it turns out even though the internet was in its bare bones intimacy in like 1999 and what have you, I did read the Romero script before I saw this movie.
Okay.
And Romero's, I don't know about an NC-17. It was very violent. There was nudity, which this movie has as well. But this Romero's script we're talking like classic. It had that, it didn't feel like a of the Dead movie, but you could tell it was written by the dude who it was written by the grandfather of the zombie. We had a lot more, organs being ripped out, and just even the monsters that weren't zombies. Romero treated those. It was very much a horror movie, and it was very much a gore fest. And Romero did, like you mentioned with Capcom and Romero. Do you guys know how Capcom and Romero actually met?
No.
So when Resident Evil 2 came out, the game, George Romero was pegged to do.
Was pegged?
Pegged.
Oh no!
Yes.
What an awkward way to meet
a family show.
What an awkward way to meet somebody.
George Romero was tapped.
Here's the script.
Was tapped. Is that better? Tapped.
He was
tapped.
Read that.
Anyway, George Romero
chosen.
He was chosen. Pegged. He was chosen to. George Romero did the commercial for Resident Evil 2.
Oh, in Japan. I remember this. Yeah.
So they loved what he did with that commercial, and he treated it like a movie.
Yeah.
And
I remember
I'll put a few clips of the commercial in here because it's absolutely bonkers. But that's what started Capcom with being like, hey, do you want to try, once the game came out and it became a huge success for Capcom, because the original Resident Evil was a success, but Capcom had never seen the kind of money that Resident Evil 2 was pulling. And they were like, we gotta capitalize on this.
We must do something.
They pegged George Romero to do a script for a Resident Evil movie. And tapped.
I feel like I need
I don't know that's better. I don't know if tapped is better.
They called George Romero.
Good.
And they were like, hey, buddy.
How do you like to be pegged?
They called George Romero and
they raw dog George Romero.
Raw dog George Romero.
This is a terrible day.
Anyway,
think of how George felt.
Sure.
So anyway, long story short, George Romero was all set to do this Resident Evil, and it was scheduled to come out late 1999, early 2000. He had written the script. They had started to do some pre-production drawings and everything, and all of a sudden they're like, well, can you do this? Can you do that? And George butting heads butted, and it kind of fell apart. The biggest problem was George wanted it to closely follow the first game. And at that point, Capcom was very much, well, if people want to know the first game, they're going to play the first game. We want the movie to be something different.
Interesting.
And Romero was very much like, no, this is the story I've set out, and this is the story I want to do. So eventually they had to part ways. And that was when Paul W.S. Anderson had started to be approached because of stuff like Event Horizon and other stuff like that. They realized he kind of, I don't want to say he forced himself, but he was really pushing too. He's like, I'm a huge fan of the games, and I'm Paul Anderson. Like Mortal Kombat was a video game movie. Yeah, he directed.
Not Wes Anderson. Paul Anderson.
Okay, at the time that Paul Anderson was Paul Anderson, we had like what 3 video game movies? We had Mario Brothers, Double Dragon, and Mortal Kombat.
He's the anti Peter Jackson, whereas like Peter Jackson started off with kind of like smaller, independent,
unusual
gross out
movies.
films, and then like moved on to like these colossal. He came out with like 2, 3, or 4 out the bat, like hits. Mortal Kombat, obviously. Soldier. Then
Soldier and Event Horizon tanked, but Capcom saw
I was going to say, I don't really think either of them were considered huge movies, but
they were recognized as being.
I don't think did Mortal Kombat do that well?
Oh,
I did see it in the movies, so I guess
it went nuts. Actually, Paul Anderson. I was going to say it again, but I'm not going to. Paul Anderson was approached to do the sequel to Mortal Kombat, and he turned it down.
Thank God he got out of that pegging.
Do you know what WS stands for in his name, by the way?
No, I'm convinced it's there just to confuse everybody.
No, it means it stands for what script?
What script?
What script?
I'm just convinced he did that on purpose because we have Paul W.S. Anderson,
Yeah,
we have
might have.
Wes Anderson, and we have Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah.
And depending on which of those guys you're getting a very different movie. But anyway, all the George Romero stuff I mentioned, there is a fantastic documentary that's available right now. I don't know if it's on where it is streaming, but I know you can rent it for dirt cheap. And it's all about the behind the scenes stuff of what happened with George Romero's Resident Evil.
Oh,
it's a fantastic watch.
I'll have to check that out. Since I didn't know any of this.
No, it's definitely like it's a rabbit hole. Especially in my case, like I said, I read Romero's script, and with Resident Evil, it's not just about the zombies. Like there's other creatures in the games as well. You've got the spiders, the hunters, all these
I would like spiders.
monster designs that aren't in the movie, but in George Romero's script, those creatures were in there. Like there were scenes where they were battling giant spiders.
And the other monsters do play a huge part, but I like first and foremost, maybe I'm wrong. Like I see this as even the movies and the games, it's zombie survival horror. The zombies are the most prevalent, and not only that, but like this is the first bit of zombie media that we had since the 80s. Like I don't think that like after Day of the Dead, zombies kind of went off a peak.
Oh yeah, they were gone.
Like they were just done. And the first thing that when we put the game on for the very first time, I had no idea what we were playing, and it hit me within like 5 minutes. I was like, "Oh shit, we're playing like a Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead game right now." I was like, it blew my mind. I was like, "Oh my god!" I hadn't felt that because zombies have elicit a very specific type of fear that not other creatures and monsters do. There's something very like dreadful about zombies. Just their impending
because there's sharks on land.
Like, and I hadn't felt that since I had watched the movies until we played that game.
That's
so
awesome.
we have to credit not only the game, like this movie, obviously, and the games for bringing the zombie back from hibernation
to the mainstream audience.
Like the Walking Deads and all of these things probably wouldn't be here right now if Resident Evil hadn't come along and kind of reintroduced everybody to the classic Romero zombie.
And that's the thing. A lot of people like to credit the Dawn of the Dead remake with bringing back the zombie. I argue it's this movie right here that brings the zombie back. Because Dawn of the Dead
2004. Yeah, no, I totally credit Resident Evil. That was the first time we had seen zombies since Day of the Dead. And like, not to jump around too much, but I saw this in the theater. The first time you see zombies, and it's a good 40 minutes into the film. When the zombies finally emerge, like they're in that laboratory with all the little like contraptions surrounding them and with the mist, and the zombies came out, it was a moment. It was a memorable moment because I was like, even sitting in the theater, I was like, holy shit, like I haven't seen zombies in forever. And to be sitting in a theater watching a Romero zombie movie, for lack of a better term at the time, was it was incredible. I was floored. I was like, I can't believe I'm watching this. Now the rest of the movie was mid as fuck.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for him like he's being too nice to it. This very much is an action movie disguised as a horror film.
Yes.
There are some slow burn moments right at the beginning, but once this movie gets going, it just doesn't fucking stop.
Yeah. A lot of these movies in the 2000s were still kind of suffering from Matrix-itis. And I think this is one of them. And so, like Blade, like everyone that techno music, everyone black,
running up the wall and flipping over,
bullet time, like slow motion bullet time, all that shit. And this movie definitely suffers from Matrix-itis to a certain extent, I would say.
Paul Anderson as a director suffers from matrixitis. This is coming from somebody who loves Paul Anderson. But yeah, if you're getting a Paul Anderson movie, you know you're going to get at least one or two scenes where you're like, well, you clearly watched The Matrix.
Yeah,
like in Alien versus Predator, the facehugger slow motion.
What did you say this room was called?
Sacrificial chamber.
Let's be honest here. First and foremost, this movie is all about Mila Jovovich.
Oh God, yeah,
Michelle Rodriguez.
She is literally my entire reason for watching this movie.
God,
Michelle Rodriguez scares me a little bit. She always looks like she's so beautiful and so scary at the same time. Like she always looks like she smelled something bad, but she's stunning.
America's sweetheart, Michelle Rodriguez.
I mean,
very.
She had the market cornered on like butch shit kicker,
tough girl roles,
female leads
until she got a DUI
for like 2 decades. That's pretty impressive, especially when every single character is exactly the fucking same.
Tough bitch that looks like she smelled something bad.
I would watch. I don't care. I'd watch it.
She's stunning. Don't get me. I am not cutting on her. She frightens me.
Performances are her character's occupation, and that is it. That is it.
She's good at what she does, ma'am.
To make her even cooler, though, than she already is, she literally told her agent, she's like, I don't care who's writing it. I don't care what happens. If you ever hear that they're making a Resident Evil movie, I want that script.
Really?
And I want you to get me in to try out for the movie.
Are you making that up?
Well, Michelle Rodriguez is a huge gamer.
Oh.
She's got like her own D&D clan. She plays video games nonstop. Like she's a huge nerd. She just also happens to look like she could kick the shit out of me.
Maybe she shouldn't play video games so much and take an acting class.
What did he say?
Oh, she's good. She just scares me.
She's good.
She's so good.
She is not good.
She is fantastic.
Good.
She's good at what she does.
All right.
What in the Clue Reservoir Dogs is going on with the names in this movie, which I didn't realize till after because I don't remember anybody's
Mr.
name.
Gray, Mr. Red.
It's because Miss Green, Mrs.
I didn't notice it.
It's literally because nobody in this movie has any names.
Dr. Blue, Dr. Brown.
Nobody, but that's because their names are never said in the movie.
Ms. Black, Dr. Green's a woman. Mr. Red, Mr. Gray, and I was like, I meant to look it up. Like, what came first? Because
it's because nobody's got names. Nobody in this movie has names. They never say each other's names.
That's thank you. Except for
the only reason we know that Mila Jovovich's character is named Alice is because it says it in the end credits.
Right. Okay. I didn't realize that, but okay. That's weird. And Mr. White.
We did know that Michelle Rodriguez's name was Rain, though, because they say it several times.
They do say that a
her
lot.
name was Rain.
Mr. Gold. My goodness.
You don't like Michelle Rodriguez, eh? As an actress.
No. She doesn't impress me. I mean, in the right way. I don't like any, like, what does she do? She does these. She does Fast and the Furious. She does Avatar. They all suck. So why would I? Yeah, I hate them all. I hate them all.
Looking at her Alita Battle Angel.
I haven't seen that, but
I haven't seen that either.
That probably.
What about Lost?
The Lost Village?
She was lost. She was in Lost.
She wasn't Lost.
Like one of the like season 6 or something.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Machete.
I'm not a fan. I mean, it's okay.
What about Mila
Robert Rodriguez is so hit or miss.
Yeah. I like Mila Jovovich.
What? Are you saying Robert Rodriguez is batting 1,000? That's not true.
He's not batting 1,000, but I wouldn't say he's hit or miss. Oh, you don't like The Faculty?
CW horror bullshit.
Jesus Christ. Spy Kids 3D.
I'm sick.
Blue Crush. That was a surfing movie.
You guys aren't
Robert Rodriguez
creating a compelling case here.
I know, right?
Oh no, Michelle Rodriguez was in Blue Crush. That's right.
Yeah.
She's in Bikini.
Yeah, Robert Rodriguez is not.
I will say one thing. Is sorry. Did you have?
No, go ahead.
Dad.
You're welcome.
Justification for this movie to exist all by itself is the Marilyn Manson score.
Yes.
Particularly, I mean, it's played a couple times, 2 or 3 times, or maybe is it prevalent? I don't know. It's broken up throughout the movie, but it's the very first thing you see. Like, it's just a very small square, and it keeps coming closer and closer and closer, and it's the lab. And it's the most Resident Evil thing that is in the movie. That small part with Umbrella and the guy lifting the vials of the virus, and the explanation in the beginning about what Umbrella is and how it's this, evil corporation, and what a great piece of horror music. It's just fantastic. I have to say about that.
How do you guys feel about the special effects in this? Like, we do have a fair bit of fun practical effects, but we do have a heavy, and this is kind of Anderson's thing. We do have a heavy reliance on CGI, and it's not looking great sometimes. Not gonna lie.
It pulls me out more than I would care to admit. That's with bad CGI everywhere. I mean, that's why I know you guys hate that I say that movie Anaconda makes me crazy, because the bad CGI just pulls me right out of the fun. John Voight getting vomited up by a snake is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. But then they fuck it up with that.
Yeah, no, I get it. Like, what I can't forgive, I guess, is, like, for some scenes, like, it's necessary, I guess, like the liquor and things like that. Like, they've been making zombie movies since the 60s. Like, do you need CGI zombies at this? Like, no.
They had new technology, and they wanted to use it on everything. It was the time, the late 90s, early 2000s.
There were just no. They needed a Savini on set, not Savini, but someone make some interesting looking zombies. Everyone just looked generic zombie. There was never any fun had with any of the zombie designs. It was all like the zombies came off of an assembly line.
Yeah, and then when we did have those few moments where it was something different, it was, like we mentioned, it was CGI, like the one that's missing,
one that's missing part of his face.
Yeah,
and
it's distracting.
Right, which actually, you know what, wouldn't have been that bad of an effect had they not lingered on it as much.
Yeah,
it was just like a.
But
the more you look
technology,
at
they were.
That was actually Jeremy Bolton, producer, by the way.
Yeah,
that's.
I mean, part of my other problem with this movie is just how bloodless it is.
Which is funny, because apparently the movie originally got an NC-17,
and I just don't understand. How do you make a bloodless zombie movie? Like, that's like, why are you even making it? If that's what you're gonna do. Like, let's just, like, the best scene in the movie, and I'm sure you guys will agree, is the defense grid scene.
Yes,
when the SWAT team has broken in and blah blah blah, and they're trying to get to the Red Queen's mainframe, I guess. This movie is basically Carnosaur 2 on a higher budget, by the way. It's just mercenaries hacking into computers, trying to get into the next
Ryan
room.
movie.
That is legit what it is. But anyway, I mean, that scene is pretty awesome. Like, how that laser just cuts them in half, and that we have Wish Tony Todd, who has a great voice, but I kind of just wish Tony Todd, doing all the gymnastics to get away, and then
like hanging up on the ceiling.
Yeah, and then it just turns into a chain link fence of lasers, basically, and he gets like decimated.
Cubed. Sorry.
No blood. And when the one computer guy who's left behind doing the hacking, he's like, we have to finish the mission. As he's walking through the corridor, like, for all intents and purposes, that corridor should be a fucking bloodbath.
Now, to be fair, the lasers were super hot, so they would cauterize the wounds.
Is that the thing?
Yeah, that is.
I mean, it's lasers. The same reason why when a Jedi,
if you lose an arm, it cauterizes the wound.
I mean, his entire body was blown to bits. I think there should have been a few puddles of blood.
A few puddles of blood.
At the very least. I don't think anyone is good in this. Everyone is a one-note, one-dimensional character.
Okay, so sorry, did you not have any fun watching fucking movies like Predator?
I think all of those everyone in Predator had character.
They have dimension.
Little tiny bits of characterization.
That guy dry shaving.
Fun. And it's so funny that you mentioned Predator, because that is exactly what a movie like this should model itself after. Just little character moments go such a long way to making a movie more enjoyable. Like, I don't have time to bleed. I'm a goddamn sexual tyrannosaur. Like,
Bunch of slap-jawed faggots around here. This stuff will make you a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus. Just like me.
Nobody has any sense of humor.
Well, she's got amnesia.
Has like everyone is
You forgot how to have
the exact same fucking boring character. Nobody has any character traits. Nobody has any character traits. There are no character moments. It's just, let's get the characters from point A to point B.
It's a two-dimensional movie. Yeah, I will 100% agree with you on that.
And that's,
but they're pretty.
Little things like that go a long way with a movie like this.
Now, okay, I'll partially agree with you. I agree that nobody in this movie has. Predator was a bad example, because yes, we do have Jesse Ventura with the sexual tyrannosaurus, and we have Carl Weathers.
Yeah, the guy
Schwarzenegger
shaving his face, shaving his dry shave.
That's his whole thing.
The big Indian guy, Native American, pardon me.
Indigenous.
Tonto, I think they call him. Isn't his name Tonto? I mean, I legit think they call him Tonto.
So.
No, his name's
For your
Billy.
sake, I hope so. I don't remember, honestly.
His name's Billy.
No. My fault. Tonto's in The Professional. Sorry, but it's
literally has the whitest name in the world, and you call him Tonto.
I mean, there was an Native American named Tonto, so
yes, we are aware of that.
There's a precedent.
It was not him.
I feel like we need to reel this part in.
Okay. No, I agree. I partially agree with you that yes, but I mean, you look at a lot of these 80s, action flicks, these 80s B movies, popcorn film. There's not a lot of, you're in it for dumb one-liners, which this movie has in spades, and large action set pieces, which again, this movie has in spades. That is not really what Resident Evil is about, but I can't lie. This is a really entertaining movie. No,
you're not lying. It's entertaining.
And
it's entertaining, but very surface level entertainment here. You don't have anything to ponder or think about. Like, it's very forgettable.
You want to be stupid. You want to drink a beer. You want to watch a movie of action and a little bit of side boob and one bean.
I don't know. There isn't even enough that happens to keep you. All they're doing is just moving throughout the complex, and I'll get to why. All right, can I
just get there?
I'm curious.
The SWAT team breaks into the mansion, which actually is a nod to the first game, which I actually dig, and it looks like a Prince video, a music video, because there's all these mirror windows with silk curtains
draperies
going in the window and everything. But they end up getting down into the hive, which is a super secret laboratory, right?
Which has been a part of the games.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair. So far I'm on board, even with the Prince stuff. I'm good.
I'm there.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm totally there. And I actually like the beginning where the computer, the Red Queen, starts picking people off. I think that the beginning of this movie is actually one of the best scenes in the movie. For just a collection of red shirts that are only there to provide the movie with zombies.
Yes.
They did really good with just providing little memorable, even though I just said 2 seconds ago that there were no memorable character traits. But in the beginning, you have the guy with the coffee getting spilled on him. You have the biracial woman that he has a crush on. you have the hot blonde British lady who goes like this, and always, it's so fucking hot when she does that. You know the part I'm talking about?
I know exactly what part you're talking about. The fact that she made an impact on you is blowing my fucking mind right now. She is in like 1.5 scenes.
Well, she's a
half
zombie
of
later.
which is she's a zombie.
Well, I just thought that like they did a good job with just such a small screen time, with actually kind of like they did more of a good job with these little filler
Well, they
characters
humanized them
than they
at
did
that
with the
moment.
main characters of the movie, giving them little character traits and little, like you could tell the coffee guy and the one lady had a crush on her.
Mhm.
She kind of knew about it, but you weren't sure if it went both
Reciprocal.
ways and reciprocal. You know, like there was a lot of story going on there, and they didn't have to do that for just zombie filler, but they did. And you know, all the different ways they killed everybody, like drowning, you know, the elevator death scene, like they decapitate that one lady, the
I like
poison
that one.
gas. Yeah, like
Halon gas, yeah.
that was all really creative, fun kills. But that's sort of for me where a lot of the magic ended.
Which is funny because everything you mentioned, that's the closest this ever feels to a Resident Evil movie.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it does. It does. I agree.
Right up until we get the first zombie attack.
Yeah.
But it's only for about the first 5 seconds of that zombie attack that
Yeah.
it still feels like Resident Evil. Once the Marilyn Manson score kicks into full gear,
Yes.
and then we're just into dumb action territory.
Right. But here's my question, and maybe you can debunk this, or not debunk this, but give me the reason for it. All right, so the SWAT team are there to break into the hive to shut down the Red Queen,
yes,
who has gone berserk.
Mm-hmm.
When they get stuck in various parts of the movie, one of the characters that has amnesia that doesn't know anything will be like, "Oh, it's okay. We'll just wait here until the rescue team comes." And they're like, "No, we have an hour to do this." And then the laboratory closes down, and everything is going to be stuck underground permanently. It's going to be a tomb. So, if everything is going to be stuck under the ground permanently anyway, why are they there? What are they doing?
Yes.
Because the Red Queen only controls things inside the laboratory, nothing outside. So what the fuck are they doing? Why are they there?
God damn it, Adam. They're there so the movie can happen.
I feel like we say that a lot on the show.
Yeah.
Because that's what heroes do.
All right. Let's jump into the rating space. Who wants to go first?
Okay. You want to go?
I don't have much to say about it, so I'll just pop my
yeah.
stuff out there. I don't want you to think I dislike this movie. I don't dislike this movie. It's just there's no draw for me to it. It's one of those movies, if my friends were here and they wanted to watch it, we can goof around and watch, but like to pop it in by myself and watch it, it's not really and I don't know why, because there's a lot of elements in it separately I should like, but I think Adam's right. When you put it together, it's very two-dimensional, and it breaks my heart because I know Ryan really likes this.
It's okay. It's okay.
So I will give this, and there's no raccoons in Raccoon City. Let's just say that right off the bat.
False advertising.
I would like to say right off the bat. Bit upset about that.
It's like
but
the
I will
whole
give this
Greenland
movie.
isn't green.
I just
There's no fucking raccoons there.
No goddamn raccoons in Raccoon City. It's crazy. I'll give this 2.5 out of 5 weird monsters named Lickers because I just think it's funny. Not a 5.
I'll go next to
Yeah,
we'll
Ryan
end it
can
on a
move.
high note
we're gonna
with Ryan's.
yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay. As much as I don't hate this movie, I just see it as wasted potential. There are certain source materials that are just so ripe for a film adaptation, and this was one of them. Like, they didn't have to stray too far from the formula. And in some aspects they didn't, but in some aspects they did. It didn't need to be more action over horror. You could have, kept some of the more mysterious elements of the game. You definitely could have ramped up the tension, suspense, and terror. That just really isn't prevalent in this movie at all. And at the very least, I mean, you don't have to make it a blood fest, but like, it's a zombie movie. Like, dude, if you don't want to make a zombie movie, if you don't want to then don't make one. Like, there should be some blood. If you sign on for a zombie movie, throw some fucking blood in there. If you don't have the balls to do that, then go do something else.
Don't make a zombie movie.
Which kind of segues into
a rom-com.
Mortal Kombat and all the fucking bloodless finishers. But anyway, I'm going to give it... and one other thing. If you have, like... George Romero was there for the taking. Like, if you're going to make a mafia movie and Francis Ford Coppola is just walking around, he's like, "Yeah, I'll do it." Or you want to make like a giant monster movie, and Ashiro Honda's like, "Yeah, I'm not doing anything this week." Why don't you? If the dude that invented the zombie genre, as we know it, is like, "I will make this movie for you." What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? Anyway, I'm gonna give it a 3. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna get a 3 out of 5 zombie dogs that look like they got into the lasagna tray. Out of 5.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to try to keep this as short and sweet as possible. I grew up on the games. I love the games. I didn't know how to feel about this movie at first while I was watching it, but by the time we got to the end of it, I really had a lot of fun with it. I hate that the games decided to follow suit with the action-heavy formula. I feel when you're dealing with Resident Evil, I don't think it's possible to do the games justice and make it horror centric, if that makes sense. There has been attempts since this movie, and it has failed spectacularly several times.
Yeah.
So I think Anderson might have had the right idea with going a little more fast paced. I love me a popcorn flick. I love me a dumb movie. Anderson, in my opinion, is the king of the popcorn movie. Anything he's done, Event Horizon, Soldier, Mortal Kombat, this, Alien vs. Predator, Monster Hunter, Death Race 2000. Like, the dude just makes dumb, fun, explosive movies. And I always have a good time when I'm watching a Paul W.S. Anderson flick. I think this is one of his best movies. And
It is.
I don't like the way you said that. I think this is one of his best movies, and I think he is a director that unfairly gets picked on too much because he's never tried to make himself more than a showman. And yeah, whatever. All I'm saying is, you talk about Francis Ford Coppola. Anderson has never tried to be fucking Coppola, okay?
Point taken.
Very true.
And he's never even remotely admitted to being anything more than just somebody who's into the spectacle. So I fucking love this movie. I watch it all the time. I have a hoot and a half with it every single time. I'm giving this fucking.
He's the Michael Bay of.
He is better than Michael Bay. Michael Bay is too serious. Michael Bay is way too serious. Unless you're talking about The Rock. That's
Bad Boys are pretty funny.
4 out of 5. 4 out of 5. Michelle Rodriguez is getting shot in the head. Out of 5.
Not dead yet.
Nice.
Out of 5.
I'm not dead.
So,
right,
guys,
Abby, where
you
can they
know
find
the
us?
deal. If you want to reach out to us, write to us. We love it. You can write us at hormonalwerewolves@gmail.com. If you want to find us on the Book of the Face or Instagram or Threads or Blue Sky or TikTok, you can find us on Hormonal Werewolves, the number 3. Anybody want to share what's going on in their lives?
I do that other horror podcast where I just talked about a movie that also got shat on by my
What
friends.
was it?
Hellraiser Inferno, Part 5.
I like that one, actually.
It was directed by Scott Derrickson. The dude did the fucking Black Phone and Doctor Strange. But anyway, go check that out if you want to hear me like try to upsell a movie that everybody else hates too.
So, Adam, what's been going on with you?
You remember, guys, I told you a while ago I had like gay chickens that like to fuck each other.
What?
Remember I had gay chickens that fuck each other.
Okay.
Remember this?
I mean, yeah,
Really?
I do actually remember that.
Hormonal chicken voyeur at gmail.com. How dare you?
Oh, Jesus Christ! You said the name.
I had two. I had 2 chickens. I was trying to get them to make eggs.
Mhm.
It turns out that they were gay.
Unfortunately, this is all coming back to me now.
Jesus. Well, anyway, I since took your advice and got when I found out that they were boys, and I got a girl one. And it turns out they're not gay; they'll just fuck anything. So they are fucking. They are fucking the girl now.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not a critique on. I'm just saying that's what chickens are like. All right. Anyway.
They'll fuck anything that moves.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
I mean-
so like I'm getting eggs galore. Boom, 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 boom. Not that the fucking has anything to do with that, but now that I have a female chicken, I'm getting eggs. Boom,
It does
boom,
help with the eggs.
And I
Does
don't know
help
if you
with the
guys,
eggs.
I don't know if you guys have heard, but like there's like a big thing about eggs. You ever heard about that?
No,
People are like,
Not in my
I haven't
country.
heard anything about
fucking
that.
eggs,
No.
they're so fucking expensive. Well, I mean, I'm
Mhm.
sure you've heard about that here, right?
I know I've never heard anything about that.
In my country, they're still like $2.50 a dozen. So
Are they?
Yeah.
Well,
Rob,
here they're still like 6 or 7. So what I've decided to do, I have a new like little side project that I'm doing now that I have the chicken. I'm kind of, but it's kind of like a chicken and like, you know how like you go to like a weed emporium and they have like different strains. So I'm trying my hand out with that. So it's like different strains of eggs.
Of egg?
Yeah. And you do that. Well, there's different ways.
Would you get like coke up your chicken first? Like, what do you?
It's a lot of like anal insertion mostly, but
pegging.
so yeah. So if you want to pegging, if you are in the market for some tasty eggs that I will sell you less than they're basically black market eggs, email me at hormonal egg hookup at gmail.com.
no.
Now I have a few strains that I'd like to share with you guys. So this one I like to call this is called Beluga Dream. I don't know if you guys know this, but a beluga is the only whale that's completely white, like the shell of an egg. Now it does have a little fish like flavor to it, so
Some guys are into that.
it's not for the faint of heart. The next strain. Now this is our white chocolate strain, and this goes well with like coffee in the morning. It has a sweet little hint of
I've never heard of eggs going
White
well
chocolate.
with coffee in the morning.
Trust me, they were really good.
Sorry.
Oh no!
These are called the
Those are the slow learners.
Oh my god!
These are called the Rocky Balboas. You know how Rocky will crack an egg in a glass and just chug it. So we purify the chicken, and then just like basically break it for you. You might get a little bit of shell, but so did Rocky. But you can chug this whole thing, and it's a nice
just calcium, man. It's good for you.
Clip the oar to the bag and just sort of squeeze it in.
And our last strain.
Nope.
This is we call this garlic fellatio. This has a very nice. Can you
spell that, Adam?
Garlic fellatio, just how it sounds.
F-E. I'm sorry, I was having
like
the guy in
Black Christmas. Anyway, it has a nice, strong, pungent, garlicky flavor that makes you feel like you're sucking garlic's dick.
Oh, wow!
Didn't even try to hide it. Just
didn't even try.
So anyway, hormonal egg hookup. I think I said at gmail.com.
I feel like egg hookup is going to go differently than you.
like almost like a Tinder thing.
You might be getting some like women's hitting you up for.
We wouldn't want that.
God no.
Bye guys.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Everybody's out looking for him, right?
Yeah.
Where do you think he's gonna come back to? Back to his lair.
We'll be ready for him.